Do you ever find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, rushing to the bathroom again and again? You fall back into bed, but instead of peaceful rest, you lie there staring at the ceiling, exhausted, frustrated, and wondering if this is simply part of getting older. Here's the truth, it's not just age. In fact, many of the struggles men face after 60, restless nights, constant interruptions, and pressure on the bladder, are made worse by small nighttime mistakes that almost nobody talks about. Mistakes that quietly trigger prostate growth night after night. The good news? You don't have to live this way. By making just a few simple changes to your evening habits, you can calm your nights, protect your prostate, and wake up feeling younger, stronger, and more energized. In this video, we're going to uncover the 5 most common nighttime mistakes that trigger prostate growth after 60, and, most importantly, how to prevent them. Stay with me until the very end, because the final mistake we'll discuss is the most underestimated of all, and fixing it could completely transform your nights. So, if you're ready to take back your sleep and your health, let's begin. Let us start with one of the most common and often overlooked nighttime mistakes: drinking too many fluids right before bed. Now, at first glance, this might sound harmless. After all, we've all heard the advice that staying hydrated is key for overall health. Water helps flush toxins, supports digestion, and keeps our body functioning, and that's absolutely true. But here is the catch. When we hydrate matters just as much as how much we hydrate. Imagine this. You drink a big glass of water, or maybe a cup of tea just before climbing into bed. You feel refreshed, and maybe you think you're doing something good for your health. But then just 2 hours later, your bladder sends an urgent signal. You wake up, shuffle to the bathroom, return to bed, and try to fall back asleep. But the cycle doesn't stop there. It repeats, again and again. By morning, you feel drained, irritable, and unrested. This constant disruption isn't just an inconvenience. It's a serious strain on the bladder and the prostate, especially for men over 60. And here's why. As we age, the prostate naturally becomes more sensitive. It can enlarge over time, and when it does, it presses against the urethra, the small tube that carries urine out of the body. The result? Even a small amount of urine in the bladder feels urgent. So when you add late-night fluids to the equation, you're forcing your body to deal with unnecessary stress. The problem: interrupted nights and prostate stress. The first and most obvious problem is frequent bathroom trips at night, also known as nocturia. Studies show that more than half of men over the age of 60 experience nocturia, and in many cases, it's not because they were drinking gallons of water. It is simply because they were rehydrating at the wrong time. Think about the toll this takes. Sleep is when your body repairs itself, balances hormones, and strengthens the immune system. Every time you wake up to use the bathroom, you interrupt this delicate process. Your sleep quality suffers, your energy levels drop, and your mood declines. Over time, poor sleep is linked to higher stress, weaker immunity, and even faster progression of age-related issues. But it doesn't stop there. For the prostate specifically, repeated nighttime urination creates a feedback loop. The bladder is under constant pressure. The prostate becomes more irritated. The urgency signal to the brain gets stronger, and you end up in a cycle of nightly disruptions that only worsens with time. It is like trying to recharge your phone but unplugging it every hour. You never quite get a full charge. The solution: smart timing and smarter choices. The good news? This problem is completely within your control. You don't have to stop drinking water altogether. You just need to adjust the timing. Reduce fluid intake 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This simple shift gives your body enough time to process and eliminate extra fluids before you fall asleep. It means your bladder is calmer, your prostate is under less strain, and you're much more likely to sleep through the night. Think of it as creating a hydration cutoff. Throughout the day, drink water steadily and generously. But as the evening approaches, taper off. If you feel thirsty close to bedtime, take just a few small sips instead of a full glass. Swap late-night tea or coffee with calming herbal options. Caffeine is a double threat. It not only stimulates the bladder but also interferes with sleep cycles. Many people think a warm cup of tea is harmless, but if it's black or green tea, it's often loaded with caffeine. Coffee, of course, is even more stimulating. Instead, go for gentle herbal teas like chamomile, lavender, or rooibos. These not only calm the nervous system but also avoid overstimulating the bladder. Some even promote relaxation, helping you drift into deeper, more restorative sleep. Listen to your body's signals. If you feel thirsty at night, ask yourself, am I truly dehydrated or is this more of a habit? Many people drink water out of routine, not necessity. Learning to distinguish real thirst from habit can make a huge difference. A real-life example, Mr. John's story. Let me share a quick example that might sound familiar. Mr. John, 68 years old, used to believe that drinking a full glass of water before bed was part of a healthy routine. Every night he'd down 8-10 ounces right before climbing under the covers. The result? He was waking up 3, sometimes 4 times each night. He thought it was just part of getting older. But then he tried a small change. Instead of that bedtime glass, he focused on hydrating earlier in the day, drinking water consistently until the evening, then gradually reducing after dinner. He also swapped his nightly black tea for a cup of chamomile. The first few nights he noticed a difference. Instead of 4 bathroom trips, it dropped to 2. Within a couple of weeks, it was often just once, or none at all. He felt more rested, more energetic, and even noticed that his mood improved during the day. The best part? His prostate wasn't under constant nighttime stress anymore. John's story isn't unique. It's a simple shift, but the impact is profound. The emotional angle. Why this matters. Here's something important to remember. Your nights shape your days. If your sleep is constantly broken, you're robbing yourself of energy, joy, and health during the day. Late-night overhydration seems small, but it chips away at your quality of life 1 bathroom trip at a time. And this isn't just about convenience. By giving your prostate the rest it needs at night, you're actively protecting it from unnecessary irritation. You're giving your body the chance to heal, to restore balance, and to slow down age-related changes. Think about how empowering that is. With one simple adjustment, changing when you drink, you can dramatically improve not only your nights, but also your days. Smooth transition. So here's the takeaway. Hydration is vital, but timing is everything. By reducing fluids a couple of hours before bed and making smarter choices about what you drink, you can protect your sleep, reduce strain on your bladder and prostate, and wake up feeling truly refreshed. But here is the truth. Hydration isn't the only nighttime habit quietly affecting prostate health. In fact, what you eat for dinner may be just as important, and that's what we'll explore in the next section. But hydration isn't the only nighttime habit affecting the prostate. Let's talk about another nighttime habit that silently works against your prostate health. Late dinners packed with heavy, greasy, or spicy foods. For many of us, dinner is the biggest meal of the day. It's when the family finally comes together, when the schedule slows down, and when the comfort foods we crave seem most tempting. A plate of fried chicken, a spicy curry, or even a cheesy pizza feels like a reward after a long day. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your digestive system doesn't see it as a reward. It sees it as a battle. When you load your stomach with heavy or spicy foods late in the evening, your body is forced to keep working long after you've laid down to rest. That's not what your digestive system, your bladder, or your prostate need at night. Instead of winding down, your body is in overdrive, trying to process the flood of fats, spices, and acids. And that extra stress doesn't just affect digestion, it trickles down to your prostate health as well. The problem: digestive stress, reflux, and restless sleep. So, why exactly are late heavy meals harmful? First, let's consider digestion. After 60, metabolism naturally slows, and the body takes longer to break down fats and complex foods. A heavy, greasy dinner means your stomach is still working overtime when it should be resting. This leads to discomfort, bloating, and even indigestion. Second, spicy and acidic foods, like hot peppers, tomato-based sauces, and rich curries, are notorious for irritating the bladder lining. That irritation creates an extra urge to urinate, especially at night. For men with an enlarged or sensitive prostate, this irritation can magnify the pressure on the urinary system, leading to more bathroom trips and less restorative sleep. Third, there's reflux. acid flowing back into the esophagus while you're lying flat. Not only does this burn, but it also keeps the body restless, tossing and turning instead of slipping into deep sleep. And when sleep is shallow, your prostate doesn't get the restorative downtime it needs. To put it simply, a heavy or spicy dinner doesn't just weigh down your stomach. It irritates your bladder, pressures your prostate, and sabotages your sleep. The solution: lighter, earlier, and smarter choices. The good news is, you don't have to give up flavor or satisfaction at dinner. You just have to make smarter choices that support your health rather than work against it. Eat lighter dinners with lean proteins and vegetables. Instead of fried meats or heavy sauces, go for grilled fish, baked chicken, or plant-based proteins like lentils. Pair them with steamed vegetables or a colorful salad. These foods are easier to digest, don't overload the stomach, and keep your bladder calmer at night. They still fill you up, but without the baggage of late-night indigestion. Finish meals at least 3 hours before bedtime. This one change alone can transform your nights. When you stop eating earlier, you give your body time to digest before lying down. By the time you're ready for bed, your stomach is calmer, your bladder isn't overstimulated, and your sleep is deeper. If your schedule makes this difficult, try shifting dinner gradually, 15 minutes earlier each week until you find a routine that works. Use spices wisely. Spices aren't the enemy. They can actually support health when used in moderation. For example, turmeric, ginger, and parsley are anti-inflammatory and soothing. The trouble comes from heavy amounts of chili peppers, black pepper, or acidic sauces. Use herbs for flavor rather than relying on heat. Your digestive system will thank you, and so will your prostate. Listen to your body. If certain foods always lead to a restless night, it's your body sending you a message. Keep a small journal for a week. Write down what you eat for dinner and how many times you wake up during the night. You'll quickly see patterns. Maybe spicy meals make you restless or heavy carbs leave you bloated. Once you see the pattern, you'll know exactly what to adjust. A real-life example: Mr. Robert's transformation. Let me paint you a picture. Robert, a 64-year-old retiree, loved his fried foods. Dinner was the highlight of his day, and he often finished the night with a heavy plate of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and sometimes even spicy sausage. But night after night, he was waking up 3 or 4 times to use the bathroom. His wife noticed how exhausted he looked in the mornings, and he often felt sluggish throughout the day. When Robert finally decided to make a change, he started simple. He swapped fried chicken for grilled fish twice a week, then gradually increased it to most nights. Instead of heavy, creamy sides, he filled half his plate with vegetables and light grains like quinoa. He also moved his dinner time earlier, making sure he was finished eating by 7 p.m. The results? Within 2 weeks, he noticed a dramatic difference. His bathroom visits dropped, his reflux disappeared, and for the first time in years, he was sleeping through the night. More importantly, he felt alive again during the day, energetic, sharper, and in a better mood. Robert didn't just protect his prostate. He regained his quality of life. The emotional angle: food as a gift, not a burden. Here's something powerful to reflect on. Food should give life, not steal it. When you eat heavy, spicy, or late-night meals, the short-term pleasure often comes at the cost of long-term well-being. But when you choose lighter, nourishing meals, you're not depriving yourself. You're giving your body the gift of rest, comfort, and healing. Think of your prostate like a hard-working friend. It already carries enough responsibility as you age. Why add unnecessary stress? By being mindful of your evening meals, you're giving your body and your prostate the support it deserves. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't have to cut out every heavy meal overnight. Start small, swap one fried dish for something grilled, add one more serving of vegetables, or shift dinner 30 minutes earlier. These little steps add up to massive changes over time. Smooth transition. So here's the takeaway. What you eat for dinner directly affects how well your bladder and prostate behave at night. By choosing lighter meals, finishing earlier, and avoiding irritating foods, you're setting yourself up for calmer nights, stronger rest, and healthier days. But diet isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Even if you eat perfectly, there's another nighttime mistake many people overlook: and it has to do with something as simple as the way you sleep. Now, even with the perfect diet, there's another nighttime mistake many overlook. We've talked about how hydration and food choices affect your nights, but now, let us look at something many people never even think about: the way you sleep. Most of us crawl into bed, flop into whatever position feels comfortable, and never consider how it might affect our bladder, prostate, or overall health. But here's the truth. Your sleep posture can make a huge difference. Sleeping flat on your back or stomach may seem harmless, but these positions can sometimes worsen circulation and create pressure in the pelvic region. And when blood flow is restricted or pressure increases, your prostate and bladder feel the strain. That strain often shows up in the form of more frequent bathroom trips, restless nights, and even a sense of heaviness or discomfort in the lower abdomen. The simple act of adjusting how you sleep could dramatically improve your nights. The problem: poor posture, poor circulation. Here's why posture matters so much. When you lie flat on your back, gravity presses the weight of your abdominal organs directly onto your bladder and prostate. For men over 60, especially those with an enlarged prostate, this added pressure can trigger that all-too-familiar urge to urinate, even when the bladder isn't full. It's like squeezing a balloon. The more pressure applied, the more it wants to release. Now let's think about stomach sleeping. On the surface, it may feel cozy, but it twists the neck, flattens the spine, and compresses the pelvic area. This position doesn't allow proper circulation to the lower body and can leave the bladder and prostate under unnecessary stress throughout the night. Restricted circulation also slows healing and increases inflammation. Remember, nighttime is when your body works hardest to repair tissues and balance hormones. If poor posture blocks that natural flow, your organs, including your prostate, don't get the support they need to stay healthy. Add to that the tossing and turning that often follows discomfort, and you have the perfect recipe for fragmented sleep, frustration, and fatigue the next day. The solution: side sleeping and gentle support. The good news is small changes in sleep position can yield powerful results. Experiment with side sleeping for better circulation. Sleeping on your side reduces the pressure on your bladder and prostate. It also promotes better blood flow to the pelvic organs, easing stress on the urinary system. Many sleep experts recommend the left side in particular, since it supports heart function and digestion. Use a pillow between your knees for comfort. For some people, side sleeping feels awkward at first. The trick? Place a pillow between your knees. This keeps your spine aligned, reduces hip strain, and prevents you from rolling onto your back or stomach. It's a simple adjustment that can completely transform your comfort level and encourage deeper, longer sleep. Encourage gentle stretching before bed. Your posture in bed is influenced by how your body feels when you climb into it. Gentle stretching before sleep helps release tension in the hips, lower back, and legs, making side sleeping easier and more natural. Think of a few light stretches or even a short walk around the house before settling in. This small act relaxes muscles and supports a healthier, more restful night. Train your body gradually. If you've been a back or stomach sleeper for decades, switching overnight may feel challenging. Don't worry, it's not about perfection. Start with short stretches of side sleeping, use supportive pillows, and remind yourself that this adjustment is an investment in your health. Over time, your body will adapt, and it will feel more natural. A real-life example. Paul's story. Let me share the story of Paul, a 62-year-old man who struggled with constant nighttime disruptions. Paul had always been a stomach sleeper. It felt comfortable, and he never gave it much thought. But in his early 60s, he began noticing that he was waking up 2 or 3 times every night with an urgent need to urinate. He assumed it was just part of getting older. Then during a routine checkup, his doctor suggested that sleep posture could be contributing to his symptoms. Skeptical but willing to try, Paul experimented with side sleeping. At first, it was uncomfortable. He kept rolling back onto his stomach, but with a supportive pillow between his knees and another tucked gently behind his back, he started to adjust. Within a couple of weeks, something amazing happened. His bathroom visits dropped to just once a night. Soon after, there were nights when he didn't wake up at all. He felt more rested, his energy improved, and he even joked with his wife that he felt 10 years younger. Paul didn't take a new medication. He didn't undergo a complicated treatment. He simply changed the way he slept, and his prostate thanked him for it. The emotional angle, respecting your body's needs. Here, as what Paul's story reminds us, sometimes the simplest changes make the biggest difference. We often think health has to come from a pill, a supplement, or a dramatic lifestyle overhaul. But often, it's about listening to the body and giving it what it needs. Think of your sleep position as a message to your body. Back and stomach sleeping say, I'm not considering circulation or comfort. Side sleeping says, I'm protecting my organs, aligning my body, and giving myself the best chance at a peaceful night. And here's the bigger picture. Sleep isn't just about resting. It's about healing, restoring, and preparing your body for tomorrow. When you choose the right posture, you're giving your prostate the best environment to heal and thrive. Practical tips to reinforce the habit. For those who want to put this into action, here are a few quick tips to make side sleeping easier. Start with a supportive mattress that doesn't sag. A firm or medium-firm mattress helps keep the spine aligned. Place pillows strategically, between your knees, under your head, and even behind your back to prevent rolling. Keep a consistent bedtime routine so your body naturally relaxes into a side sleeping posture. If you wake up on your back, don't get frustrated. Gently roll onto your side again and remind yourself it's a process. Every small adjustment is a step toward calmer nights and healthier days. Smooth transition. So here's the takeaway. Your sleep position isn't just about comfort. It is about circulation, pressure, and prostate health. By shifting to side sleeping, adding pillow support, and stretching before bed, you're removing unnecessary stress and giving your body the rest it deserves. But posture is only part of the story. Even if you sleep perfectly, there's another nighttime mistake that often slips under the radar. It's not about what position you sleep in. It's about what you fail to do before bed. But sleep posture is only part of the picture. What you don't do before bed is just as important. One of the most overlooked factors in prostate health and in overall well-being is the state of your mind before you fall asleep. We often think about what we drink, what we eat, and even how we position our bodies in bed, but we rarely stop to ask, what state of mind am I carrying with me into sleep? Here's the truth. Stress and tension don't simply vanish when you close your eyes. They follow you into the night, shaping how deeply you rest and how well your body restores itself. And for men over 60, this is especially critical because chronic stress triggers hormonal changes that can directly aggravate prostate growth. Elevated levels of stress hormones like cortisol can increase inflammation in the body, and when inflammation rises, the prostate is often one of the first areas to feel the impact. Now, think about what happens when you climb into bed after a stressful day. Maybe you've been watching the news late into the evening, worrying about health, finances, or family matters. Or perhaps you've carried the weight of an unresolved argument with you into the night. Instead of drifting into deep restorative sleep, your mind keeps racing. Your heart beats a little faster, your muscles stay tight, and your body remains on high alert, even though you're lying down in the dark. This tension doesn't just steal your peace of mind, it steals your rest. Shallow sleep means your body never fully enters the stages where healing and repair take place. And when your sleep is shallow, inflammation levels climb higher, your immune system grows weaker, and your prostate remains under pressure. You may notice more frequent urges to urinate at night, or simply wake up feeling heavy, tired, and emotionally drained. The good news is that you don't need a complicated program to break free from this cycle. What you need is a nightly ritual to release stress and signal to your body that it is safe to rest. This doesn't have to take an hour. Just 10 to 20 minutes of intentional relaxation can transform the way your nights unfold. Gentle breathing exercises, for example, are one of the simplest tools you can use. By focusing on slow, deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, you lower stress hormones, relax tight muscles, and calm the nervous system. Within minutes, your body begins to shift into a state of readiness for sleep. Another powerful practice is meditation or quiet reflection. You don't have to sit cross-legged or chant. You simply need a moment to be present. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and allow your thoughts to settle without judgment. Letting go of the day's worries, even for a short time, reduces the mental clutter that often keeps you awake at night. Journaling can also serve the same purpose. By writing down your concerns or even noting what you're grateful for, you create a sense of closure to the day. Your mind feels lighter and your body follows. Equally important is what you avoid before bed. Filling your mind with late-night news reports or stressful conversations is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Your nervous system becomes agitated just when it should be winding down. Protect your evenings by setting boundaries. No heavy news after dinner. No heated discussions before bed. Instead, fill that time with calming activities that soothe the mind. Let me share an example that illustrates the power of this shift. Mr. David, 66 years old, was constantly battling nighttime awakenings. He went to bed each night after watching the evening news and scrolling through his phone, often filled with stressful headlines. His mind was restless, his body tense, and he would wake up 2 or 3 times needing to use the bathroom. But when he was encouraged to try something different, he made a small change. Instead of his usual routine, he dimmed the lights, put away the phone, and played soft instrumental music for just 15 minutes before bed. The result was remarkable. Within a week, his nights became calmer. He reported fewer bathroom trips, deeper sleep, and a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. David's story is a reminder that relaxation isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It is one of the most direct ways to reduce strain on your prostate and reclaim restful nights. By calming the mind, you calm the body. By reducing stress, you reduce inflammation. And by preparing your body for true rest, you give your prostate the chance to recover rather than remain on constant high alert. Imagine the difference it would make in your life to go to bed not with a racing mind, but with a sense of calm. Imagine waking up not groggy and drained, but refreshed and light. That difference doesn't require a miracle. It requires a choice to release stress instead of carrying it into the night. So, as you prepare for bed, think of relaxation as part of your health routine, just as important as brushing your teeth or turning off the lights. Your evenings set the tone for your nights, and your nights set the tone for your days. By giving yourself permission to relax, you're not being indulgent. You're being wise. You're protecting your prostate, your sleep, and your overall health. Finally, as we look toward the last part of this journey, remember this. Posture, food, hydration, and relaxation all matter. But there's one final nighttime mistake that is often underestimated, and it has less to do with what you do once in a while, and more to do with what you consistently fail to create. Finally, we come to the most underestimated mistake of all. Neglecting a nighttime routine tailored for prostate health. We've explored hydration, food, posture, and relaxation, but there's one final piece that ties everything together. It's the foundation that supports every other healthy habit, and without it, progress is often inconsistent or short-lived. That piece is a consistent nighttime routine. Think about how children thrive on routines. When bedtime is the same every night, their bodies know when to slow down, when to rest, and when to recharge. But somewhere along the way, many adults lose this rhythm. Nights become unpredictable, sometimes staying up late, sometimes eating or drinking too close to bedtime, sometimes skipping relaxation altogether. That inconsistency confuses the body, and when the body is confused, its functions, especially urinary function, become less reliable. The truth is that the body loves rhythm. It loves predictability. When you go to bed at the same time each night, your brain learns to release sleep hormones at the right moment. When you follow a calming routine, your nervous system knows it's time to let go of stress. And when you honor this rhythm, your bladder and prostate are less likely to rebel with unnecessary nighttime wake-ups. Without a routine, however, the opposite happens. Irregular bedtimes throw off your body's internal clock. Late-night snacking or drinks send mixed signals to the bladder. Ignoring warning signs like frequent urges or discomfort allows problems to grow unchecked. Over time, this patchwork pattern makes prostate growth harder to manage and sleep harder to protect. You might find yourself caught in a cycle of restless nights and sluggish days, wondering why nothing seems to work. But here asks the empowering part. Building a nighttime routine doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more effective it becomes. Start with a consistent bedtime. Choose a time that works for you, maybe 10 p.m. or 10:30, and stick with it as often as possible. When your body knows when to expect sleep, it begins preparing in advance. You'll find it easier to fall asleep and easier to stay asleep. Next, add small rituals that tell your body it's time to slow down. Gentle stretches are a wonderful start. A few minutes of loosening the hips, back, and legs not only ease tension, but also encourage circulation around the pelvic region, which benefits the prostate. A warm shower can have the same effect, soothing muscles and creating a clean, calming transition into bed. And if you enjoy sipping something before bed, make it a caffeine-free herbal tea, chamomile, rooibos, or lavender, earlier in the evening. These teas support relaxation without irritating the bladder. Another powerful tool is keeping a simple sleep diary. Write down what time you went to bed, what you ate or drank in the evening, and how many times you woke during the night. This isn't about perfection, it's about patterns. Within a week or two, you'll start noticing connections. Maybe heavier meals lead to more interruptions. Maybe certain nights with better relaxation give you deeper sleep. When you see the patterns, you gain control. You know what works for your body and you can repeat it. Let me share the story of Mr. George, 70 years old, who struggled with prostate-related sleep interruptions for years. His nights were unpredictable. Some evenings he'd eat late, other nights he'd drink too much tea, and often he fell asleep in front of the television long after midnight. Not surprisingly, his sleep was fragmented, and his mornings felt like a battle. George decided to try building a routine, one step at a time. He began by cutting off hydration 2 hours before bed. Next, he committed to lighter dinners eaten earlier in the evening. Then he added a short relaxation ritual, a warm shower followed by a few minutes of soft music. Within weeks, he noticed dramatic improvements. He was falling asleep faster, waking up fewer times, and feeling more refreshed in the morning. He often told his friends, "I feel 10 years younger," simply because his nights were finally restorative. George's transformation shows us that the body responds beautifully to consistency. When you give it signals it can trust, it rewards you with calmer nights, fewer interruptions, and healthier mornings. And it doesn't take perfection. Even if life throws curveballs, the key is to return to your routine as often as you can. Every time you do, you reinforce the message to your body. It's safe, it's time to rest, and healing can begin. Here's what is most important to remember. Neglecting a nighttime routine isn't just about missing a few hours of sleep. It's about missing the chance to give your body the order and predictability it craves. When you take time to build a simple evening ritual, you're not just managing prostate health, you're reclaiming control over your nights, your mornings, and your quality of life. So as we close this journey, let this be your final takeaway. Routines matter. They matter for your mind, for your body, and especially for your prostate. Build a routine that respects your health. Consistent bedtimes, calming rituals, smart choices with food and drink, and you'll create nights that nurture instead of nights that drain. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but your nights can change starting tonight. Take the first step today and change your life for the better.